happen in the world, right? And the Lord had already prophesied about these types of sorrows and pains that would happen in the world, and he said that it would happen as pain as a woman in travail, meaning like when a woman gives birth, her contractions start 6 minutes, 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute apart, right? And they're counting down, the doctor is counting down, so when those contractions are very short, when the contractions are very short, that means it's time for the baby to be delivered, right? So back to your question, as far as is it going to get worse? Well, the Lord had already prophesied that it was going to get worse. It was going to increase, just like a woman in travail to be delivering her baby. It increases over time, and not only does it increase, sometimes the pains get even more sharper, right? You may witness, if you ever had children and your wife is pregnant, she'd be like, oh man, my water burst, and then they're going to say, how old are your contractions? Oh, well, it's like 8 minutes apart, and it's not as severe. But then when they start getting 4 minutes apart, they'll be a little bit more severe and sharp. So when you start looking out in the world and you start seeing some of the destruction and terror and perils and things that's happening, sometimes if you really paid attention, like Christ said, watch ye, right? You got to watch and pay attention to a lot of the signs and wonders that's happening in the earth. You might start saying like, dang, there's so much going on at the same time. Sometimes you can't keep up with everything that's going on. Everything doesn't always be like a sharp destruction when someone died. Sometimes the sorrows just come in where, yo, they about to mandate that everybody got to get a vaccine shot. And you like, I don't want to do that. And it's like, well, if you can't get that shot, then you're going to be laid off. You're like, yo, what? So now everybody's like, yo, I can't get laid off. This is my livelihood. What am I going to do? So now you have a lot of people, even Esau and all the nations, they out there protesting and doing all kind of stuff. So it's a lot of things that's going to happen at the same time in different places. Everybody's not going to go through the same exact plague. You got forest fires out in California, some down in the desert. You got flooding over in this area. You got tornadoes that hit this area. You got hurricanes that hit this area. You got places where the virus is more prevalent than other places in the earth. Doesn't mean that just because in that region they don't have as many coronavirus patients or as many coronavirus deaths, the Most High is going to get them another way. The Most High is going to now allow another type plague to come and hit that region, and they're going to have to deal with that. Same thing even within Israel. You know, every Israelite is not going to go through the same thing. You're going to have Israelites who's going to go through this thing, go through that travail, because everyone's going through their own different walk to get to the same culmination on the righteous side and then even on the wicked side, right? Judgment is going to befall them on the wicked side. Your trial is going to befall you on the righteous side for you to get through, but it's going to be different paths that you're going to have to walk, right? So I'm going to read 8 again. And they shall be afraid, pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames, right? So you have a lot of news broadcasters who are now coming out and saying they've never seen anything like this happen before. To have a lot of these atrocities happening in the earth, just with, you know, as they say, global warming, the temperatures and the climate changes and things, never been recorded like this before. What's going on? They're trying to rationalize and understand what is it that they can do to fix or remedy this, right? Signing the climate control peace treaty, whatever that is. If we all get together and we do this, we can stop the climate, not knowing that these things is all controlled by the Most High. Not Mother Nature, but Father, the Most High that's in the heaven. He controls all these things. And they still try to get you away to become a little bit more tangible and trust in man, and we can fix these problems. We can now get to this. We can calm the tension that's going on in the Middle East. We can bring peace. We can, you know, bring policies and implement certain. No, but this is all the Most High, right? Verse 9, behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel, but with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. So it's not about money, it's not about land, and it's all about sin. It's all about wickedness, abomination, those things that men and women are doing that the Most High opposes. Most people don't want to think that it's that simple. They don't believe that it's just coming down the words on a page, of me not doing something that I think I have a God-given free right to just do. But like it says in, hold this, go to Jeremiah chapter 8. Hold that in Isaiah, go to Jeremiah chapter 8. Jeremiah chapter 8 and verse 3. So it reads, Jeremiah chapter 8 verse 3, and death shall be chosen rather than life by all the residue of them that remain of this evil family. So those who are still present in these last days, in this generation, the majority of them are going to choose death rather than life. They're choosing to die. They don't realize it's not a literal that they're going out there and say, you know what, I woke up this morning, I'm ready to die today. They're not thinking that in their minds, but the things that they're now joining to, the things that they're following after, the things that they're participating in, the things that they believe in, they're choosing death rather than life, which the Bible tells you in Deuteronomy, it's the law, the 30th chapter. It's the law. The laws of the Most High. Keeping these principles will allow you to live from day to day. The Most High will take care of you. He will now guide you through wisdom to have you avoid a lot of the pitfalls that are out there in this global trap. But most people say, no, I want to do this. Who are you to say? Love is love is blind. I can choose who I want. Love ain't got no color. It don't have no this. But the Most High said otherwise. I don't hear what you're talking about. So I'd rather choose death than life. They don't realize that this Bible, these laws, is life unto them. They think that the world and what it provides is life. So they're going to choose death and choosing the world, right? And it says, which remain in all the places whither I have driven them, saith Yahweh of hosts, or the Most High Lord of hosts. So wherever the Most High has us in the four corners of the earth, Israel, the 12 tribes, the majority of us is choosing death rather than life, being persuaded by the other nations, right? Wanting to follow what everybody else is doing or the trend, you're choosing death rather than life. So now when you do this, you are now becoming public enemy number one against to the Most High, which is a sinner, a sinful people. The Lord never really cared about any of the other nations. He always cared about us first. So he used the other nations as swords or tools to chastise us, right? To beat our behinds. Some of it was through actual physical killing, torture, rape, robbery, and that's what they've been doing. So the Lord says, now I'm preparing to bring my ultimate judgment in the earth. Y'all better get yourselves right. Y'all better leave them alone. Leave that alone, or else you're going to get caught up with it. Right? But we know based on this scripture, the majority of us is going to choose death rather than life of those that remain here in the earth today in these last days. Right? Go back to Isaiah chapter 13. Isaiah chapter 13, and I'm going to reread 9, and I'm going to read all the way down to 12, and I'm going to stop at 12. So it says, behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it, right? So a lot of times when we look at some of the deaths that happen in the earth, some of it is inconceivable as far as for who sometimes are we seeing the one that's dying. The Lord don't have no respect of persons. He has a respect of nations, as it tells you in the book of Exodus, the 4th chapter, but he does not have a respect of persons, right? When Israel as a people go out there and sin, the Lord's going to judge us. He's going to now go and deal with us, right? Does he now show more consideration to others? He does, because of how their spirit is, because of the righteousness that they may exhibit, that they have done, right? But a sin is a sin, and the Lord is going to deal with it and check it as such. So it says again, he's going to destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. Most people look at this as literal, as figurative. When you read the Bible, the sun, light, moon, all of that is really dealing with knowledge, wisdom, understanding. In the last days, men's common understanding, whether you're into Egyptology, whether you're into Christianity, whether you're into all these different types of so-called wisdom, right? Remember, the Bible, the light, the knowledge of the Most High is supposed to be like light that shines. A lot of these people have fake light. They don't have real light. So when the time comes and you go to them for answers, they're not going to be able to have the answers. They're not going to be able to tell you the truth. They're not going to be able to break it down for you why these things is happening. They're going to tell you should pray for a better day. That's about it. But they're not going to go into the Most High's word and be able to explain everything that's going on. Why are their light going to be dim? Go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 8. Isaiah chapter 8 and 20. So in Isaiah chapter 8 and 20, it says, to the law and to the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them, right? So now, if they're not speaking according to the laws, the Most High tells you to be in the truth of the Lord. When Christ says, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free, to be in the truth is to be in the laws of God. And these majorities of all these churches, they teach you that you don't have to keep the laws of God. So they cannot be in the truth. They're dealing with lies. They're dealing with madness. Then it says, and to the testimony. When you look at all the testimonies of our former past prophets and prophetesses, right? Great men and great women, and the things that they've done. There's even testimonies on things where some of Israel done wickedness. We were supposed to use that as examples on how to live in today's current society. Most people don't even want to refer to those things. The Old Testament is closed off. I don't deal with the Old Testament. Then you got some that don't deal with the New Testament. Then you got a majority that don't deal with the Apocrypha. So they done closed off the law. They done shut down the testimony. And now they dealing with lies. So the Most High says, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. So all this worldly science and all this man's wisdom is slowly already being shut down. So and as the howling is going out, like we read in Isaiah 13 and 6, as the howling is going out, the truth is going out, and it's drowning out all these other lies. The light is being shown, and now some people are realizing that, man, these guys don't know what the hell they're talking about. This guy don't know what he's talking about. And at the same time, we're seeing the lies that they're bringing out. The Most High is also dimming their light, like he did to the brother last week, right? Like he did to the brother, Polite last week. He's dimming his light. Now he's the light that he wanted on him. It's not a good light now, right? Because now you're being exposed. You got the light shining on you for wickedness, right? For now being called a rapist or whatever he did to this girl. That's not the light that we want to shine. We always want to have someone come at us and be like, yo, y'all teaching that we can't be homosexuals? That's messed up. Well, let me show you through the scriptures. Yo, y'all teaching that, you shouldn't stand for the LGBT. No, let me show you that through the scriptures. Yo, y'all teaching that, brothers can't marry who they want. If I like this Arab girl, let me show you through the scriptures, right? So it's not about something that I've done wicked or carnal. It's about me showing you what the true light of the Most High says, and not my light. Not me, it's the Most High. I'm shining the Most High's light as a beacon to everybody else who wants to see it. But we know most people don't want to see it because of this. Go to the book of John, chapter 3. The book of John, chapter 3, and verse 19. So St. John chapter 3:19 says, and this is the condemnation, that light is come into the world, and men loved darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil, right? So when the light comes to an individual, they don't want to be held accountable for their actions. They don't want to be corrected or stand checked and then found to be on the right path. They rather go and do those evil deeds because they love their evil deeds. They choose in death rather than light. Christ is saying the same thing. The majority of the people that he was around didn't come to him. Did that mean that everybody rejected him? No. We already knew from the Old Testament, the prophecy was that 2/3 of our people will reject this knowledge, reject this light. So he expounded on it here when he came into earth. Verse 20, for everyone that doeth evil hateth the light, neither cometh to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved. Sometimes people don't want to hear it, because sometimes when you hear correction, that now in your conscience and in your subconscious, you don't want to be held accountable. So I'd rather not even hear it. If I don't hear it, I could play the ignorant card. I didn't know. You can stand on the ignorant card. But the Most High always has a way of now getting that information, that knowledge out there. Whether you hear it by randomly as you walking by, a flyer on the news or a movie or whatever it may be, that truth, that knowledge is going to get planted so that you have no excuse in that day. But this is the key. So now as we getting back to these contractions, right, the Most High is now speeding them up. And then as he's speeding them up, the world is not going to have a remedy or an answer for what's coming. They can't stop this. They can't stop the Most High's onslaught, right? Let alone, come up with some form of technology to go against it. Albeit, the Most High has filled man with so much pride that he thinks he can do it. Man thinks he can beat God. He thinks he can beat his fate or his destiny. Right? He can change and alter time. They come out with all these movies of people going back in time to change the course of the future, or going fast forward into the future to change the past so that it can now fix or be in the realm of what they see the truth. They can't do that. They want us to believe that it can be done, but it can't happen. The Most High said this is how the court, and nothing has deterred from what the Most High said from the beginning. Nothing has changed. Everything up until now that was supposed to have happened, happened. And now it's currently happening until the time where Christ and the angels come back to bring the ultimate judgment, right? So now going back to Isaiah 13:11, I got two more verses here. And I jump to the next one. So this is Isaiah 13:11, and I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible, right? So there it is. It just mentions it in the verse that he will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease. There's no bigger prideful individual, man or nation in the earth than Esau, who we call the so-called white man, according to the Bible. Right? He's really the red man, right? According to Genesis, the 25th chapter, he's the red man, not the white man, the red man, according to his birth, his forefather. So the Lord said he was going to cause their arrogancy and their pride to cease when that destruction comes. And as time goes on, the Lord is going to treat them just like King Pharaoh and build it up till he's brought down with a sword destruction. And then the rest of the world and everybody's going to know on a higher level than what we saw when we came out of Egypt. When we came out of Egypt, the fame of the Most High and Israel went out a bit. People heard about us. They was fearful. Even back then, there was chariots and UFOs or UFOs back then that some of them saw. Not all the nations saw the chariots because the chariot left after a certain period of time. But they heard about it. And this last day, every nation of people on the planet Earth are going to see and feel the power of the Most High, and they're going to see the chariots all over the earth. They're going to see that the angels in those chariots came to help and redeem those who was looked at as the forgotten, the lost, the last hired, first fired, the they classified us or stigmatized us as the lazy, the criminals, right? The demons in the earth. When all the while, it was always them. What do they say in TV? The greatest trick the devil ever did was to prove that he didn't exist. That's Esau. That's Esau. That was his biggest trick, is to prove that he wasn't the devil. He wanted to prove that he was the angel. He was Christ. And he tricked a lot of people. Why can't they be saved? Why can't this? Why can't that? But he tricked everybody to believe that he was the angel, he was Christ, he was the Most High, and then made us to be the devil. Made us to be the evil and the wicked ones. But in us howling, the Most High said he was going to do this. Verse 12, and I will make a man more precious than fine gold. Right? Even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Because as we was talking about buying gold and silver, and we know that that's God's currency, we know that people like to go and accumulate wealth and get money. That's a tangible thing that most people value, right? Most people in the earth outside of this paper fiat money, they value having wealth, right? It's a bad thing, it's a good thing. But the Lord said he was going to make a man more precious than fine gold, meaning that you was going to go and seek after a prophet of the Most High first. My mind ain't concerned with gold. My mind ain't concerned with silver. I need to go find one of those brothers because they're going to give me that spiritual wealth that I need. They're going to give me my true value. So the Lord made those of the 144,000 men to be set up as the next coming government in the earth to be that one. You could be a millionaire with wealth in your pockets, but feel empty. Feel like you don't have nothing. That's what a lot of these celebrities do. They feel worthless. That's why they take drugs and drink alcohol and do all these crazy things, because they thought that was going to add value and give them peace. Nah. The Most High said my word was going to bring peace, right? Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read, right? Read things written aforetime. That was going to be your comfort. That was going to be your healing. Where do I learn this at? You got to go to the prophets of the Most High. You got to go to the men that's being raised up to teach this truth, right? And that's how you get it. Same way in the book of Acts when the brother was in the chariot reading the book of Isaiah, and the Most High had Philip go unto him, and he said, "Brother, you know what you're reading? How can I unless someone teach me?" So you got to go to those teachers out there. Those teachers going to break down everything from beginning to end and everything in the middle and what's required of you. Who would want gold over that? Right? But you're going to have a lot of people that choose gold, choose silver, choose death over those men. But the right people, the 1/3, are going to go seek it out. They're going to want to go find these men. You even have some of the heathen that come out there that go on the highways and byways and stand, far or even close up and listen. They go on YouTube. They listen. They take notes because they know that this is the true word. They're not going to get salvation, but they're at least going to go and hear the judgment of the Most High. They're at least going to now go and understand the wrongs that them and their people have done, and it hasn't been fixed. It hasn't been resolved. And there's nothing that they can do to resolve it. As much as any nation, anybody come up and apologize for what their people have done, there's nothing that they're going to be able to do in order to solve or resolve that atrocity they put on us. Nothing. Nothing. What is Esau going to do? If they gave every so-called black man, woman, and child 40 acres and a mule that they promised us, does that make up for what they did for over 400 years up until now?
No. Absolutely not.
But some of the 2/3 probably will say that will. Some of them will. But to the wise man, to the wise woman, that can't make up for that. Because these things are still temporary. Just by you giving me this land and you giving me money, it still doesn't make up for the legacy and the infrastructure and the system that you have established. You got to change everything. Because your system ain't designed for me. I got a land, but I'm still paying taxes to you. And if I miss a payment, you come take my whole land. It's a setup if they even did that. They know how stupid it, how ignorant some of our people are. Ignorant meaning you don't have knowledge. They gave them that. Look what we know we're going to mess that all up. You know we're going to mess that up. I had a family friend whose mother passed away. This was years ago. His mother passed away. He was in his 20s. She had an insurance policy that when she died, her house was automatically paid off. The house was paid off, right? You would think all he had to do was pay the taxes on the house for the year. Nope, he didn't do that. Now, the house has a lien on it. He didn't pay the taxes. They took the house, put it up, somebody else came and bought his house. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking, yo, you had a house that you didn't pay no money for. All you had to do was just pay the taxes on it for the end of the year. It was like maybe $1,500 for the year. And he let that go because he was going around doing other stupid nonsense. And I use that as an example because that's going to be multiplied times 1,000,000 with Israel if they was to put in that same position. Because we just don't, majority of us don't think rationally on how to make good decisions with certain things or think righteously with the things that's been given to them. So you're going to get caught up. Now, this howl, as we've been reading, is to say, look, not only pay attention to what's coming,